Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Garuvini for Living World of Darkness Rage across New York. I've been press ganging to doing this interview against my will. William White and Talata Heen have taken a day or so to rest and relax, especially Talata, seeing as her theurging chiminages take a lot out of her. Will has healed up. Yeah, they're basically making sure that everyone around Sept thanking people before the big coming moot. A few of the tribes have already left. Sorry, a few of the packs have already left, but most are staying around for the big celebration. Yeah, and Will has got himself thinking about the future. And one of those things is pack. One of the cornerstones of the nation, and even Garu that are not in the nation still need a pack. And yeah, Will has been thinking about this at length, and has talked to his sister before about a certain Shadow Lord Ragabash. Probably not a good fit for a pack that's kind of heavily influenced by the pure tribes. Sorry, one sec.
Okay, to fill up this empty void of emptiness, I'm resting. I would like to comment on this, as there is no resting to be done. There is an entire sept to clean and to take care of. So she would have been paying all the chiminages. She would have been collecting all the hearts and scalps of all the Black Spiral dancers and other enemies that they killed. And most importantly, she would present her war trophy, which are the gogged out eyes of the spirit, to the courage spirits.
Yes, actually, Talata is. But yeah, the two of them will and find Raphael so they can talk about basically the idea of him joining a pack and get to know him more and all, get to know him better and all that sort of thing. So, where do they find him?
I mean, mostly these days, he's still actually near the chess tables, and he's mostly writing his gibberish codes in his notebook, which, as many people knows, is just full of rubbish. Because he has eidetic memory, he doesn't need to write things down. So yeah, this is where he is.
So yeah, they will come up to him, approach him. You see two Garu coming towards you.
I'm not gonna lie. Something probably comes through Raphael's mind. Oh shit, they've gone for me. They've come
This is for the Crotan, motherfucker.
and then as he dies, it's not our fault, it's your own because you failed your brothers.
You need pretty high, like when they go return a lot to know.
Yeah, no, he will put his pencil down and close the notebook as well. He will show throat because he's just a Cleus. I'm just a low life Cleus.
Oh,
among such mighty Garus.
You must have us confused. Will just kind of gestures for him to like stop. Talata, you can feel Will get annoyed through the power clink.
Talata would kind of give a shrug through the pack link, like, dude, get used to it. That's your rank right now. If you're not getting used to it, I will start showing my throat as well.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
And her chin goes up.
And, yeah, he starts humming because he's just looking up, like, yeah.
Yeah, there's like this silence between Tatooine and William as they're looking at each other. And then Tlato would turn to Raphael. So, did you get wounded during the fight?
As I mean, he's looking up, like he's looking at the sky, and he's like, yeah, no, I didn't really, I didn't really got hurt. It's okay. They were mostly focused on Chloe and Jacob, and Jacob shining with their nice Luna's armor. Very distracting.
That is good to hear. We were wondering if we could ask you a few questions.
And he just lower his head as he looks at her, and he looks at both of them. Well, my office is open.
Tatooine frowns. Office. Okay, we can go to your office if you like.
It's a figure of speech.
He's making a joke to Lottie.
It's okay. I can turn off the joke mode.
No, I understand jokes.
Care to tell us one?
I would roll I would roll a sense because I know that's a lot.
Tlato is convinced that she understands humor.
If you want to roll something, it's on extra dice roller 1.
Oh god. Well, if you want to roll something, that's fine.
Yeah, no, just for the lols. Just for the lols. I have 4 successes.
Extra dice roller. I mean, she seems pretty convinced with 4 successes. I mean, I know I'm gonna roll subterfuge because that's
Yeah,
a lie. She seems pretty convinced that she understands humor.
It's okay. It's all that I need. and he nods. Sounds very well. Well, there are benches. Feel free to grab one. Of course. Of course, they won't catch fire this time unless. Did you got a new perk when I was gone? He looks at William.
Will just raises an eyebrow. No, the wild has taken certain blessings away. Probably for the best, I think.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe your tribe has, secret fire power. Who am I to judge?
Yes, it's what the children of Gyra are famous for: secretly starting fires.
Exactly, the fire of you.
Maybe in this sept.
William,
anyway.
I'm sure if you can concentrate on something, you can start a fire. Why don't you give it a try?
Okay, I know what's going to happen. Okay, for the sake of scenage, we'll just kind of humour Talate, and he'll concentrate on the bin.
On a bin, okay.
And Raphael, will just take.
It fails.
He will take. Just let me do a thingy.
Okay. Ooh. Big fire. It takes like 10 seconds, but then there is like a huge fire just starting in the bin.
Yeah,
very unsuspiciously.
Will looks around at her like, what the fuck?
Can you guys, uh, can you guys roll perception alertness?
Perception alertness, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Making a roll dice.
Yeah,
What is
exactly. I'm a monster making you roll dice.
I got a success.
Not enough.
No, I figured. Oh, lol. See, Latin does have humor. Sort of. Her humor just usually works with fire.
I have 2 successes.
Yeah, no, not enough. I have 3. So yeah, there's also another fire on on the chessboard, and it's like, oh my god, such amazing power. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. But you burned my notebook. Makes me sad. As he takes
Will
the fakest sad face you could ever imagine.
Will looks very confused and looks very suspiciously at the other 2. He knows what channeling a gift feels like, and yeah, accidentally did it, but he's not quite sure, and yeah, he looks a bit kind of unsure at this point, and he'll through the pack link he'll be like, "Did you do that?"
And Tlatihin looks, well, feels through the backlink. You can feel she's also a bit confused.
Yeah, because there's a second fire
Like,
that never
what?
happened before. And,
She's
yeah,
like
just-
through the backlink. She's like, no, I aimed for the bin.
and yeah, he just lights a cigarette.
His head swivels to Thingy.
Thingy. His deed name will be Thingy.
He will be my Thingy. And yeah, he's just looking at him like, and just goes,
I see William is a man of few words.
Yeah, it goes like what?
he just said, "Did you do that?" Sorry, I might be cutting out.
Yeah, you were cutting out.
Damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. You're hearable. You're hearable. It's just that apparently you had a blank, and he just makes the cockiest smile. Maybe. I didn't want you to feel unpowerful compared to your previous burning capacities.
If anyone's going to make me feel adequate, I have to Lataheen for that, don't I? Besides, actually,
Will,
that's
I
Ragabash's job.
highly
I'm
doubt
only
I would
teasing,
make
I'm
you
joking.
feel uncomfortable with my power, as you are an Arun and I'm only a Theurge.
I mean, you're only a Theurge, only a keeper of the land, and only an alpha. That's a lot of only.
Yeah, get used to it.
Latine actually blushes.
So, Raphael,
Yeah.
all this aside, we want to know more about you. We want to know why you've come to here this sept. I've asked you before, and you said various things you were ordered, but we'd like to get to know you a bit better and spend some more time with you.
And he, oh my, and he put a hand in his hair, like putting them in place. I wasn't ready for a job interview, but okay. As he goes, so what do you want to know?
We'll look at Talate.
Oh, I have to come up with the smart questions. God damn it.
Well, Will knows what he wants to say. He will basically say, we would like to know how you feel about, what's that, cutting right to the heart of the issue.
Go
Has
ahead.
had various issues with them in the past. And that's not our place to judge. We would like to know where you stand.
Okay, so OC, I don't know if you forgot to put a word in your your phrasing, but I don't know on what subject you want to ask him because I understood everything except that if you said calazans, I never heard the word.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
yeah.
It's just
You
that,
just cut out the one
Oh,
word
okay.
on the topic of which you wanted the opinion on.
which is hilarious.
On the pure tribes.
Ah,
Ah,
oh.
not the calazans, not the pure tribe. And he he taps actually. He actually taps the. So I never remember what English name they would bear, but the chess chronometer. He types it, starting a timer.
Oh, pocket watch.
Stopwatch. Oh.
Yeah. So you want to know my opinion on the pure tribe, and he looks at the latte, obviously.
She didn't expect that question coming from Will. Like that was a bit very sudden. So she blinks a couple of times and then kind of scratches her now bald head. Like,
Well, I can answer to that question. Do you have an area of expertise that you want my opinion on regarding the pure tribes? There are many subjects on the pure tribes. Which one precisely do you want me to answer to? Do you want me to answer about the Wild West conquest? Do you want me to answer to the Colombian Wars? Do you want me to answer to the Viking invasion? Although, for this one, I'm not the person to ask this question. I'm sorry.
what do you think that we would want an answer on?
Oh, she's twisted. I like it. As he looks at both of them. Considering you've been a pack of two, or as far as I know, a certain time, and that William White have always shown deference to you and signs of clear friendship above professional relationship. I would say that the question you want me to answer is, would my opinion on the pure tribe would be detrimental to us having more than strictly businesses conversation? And considering that you belong to the tribe of Wendigo, I would say there is a fair chance that since you have some of my hair, you may potentially find a way to make me pay my word literally. As he smirks.
Well, you are still not giving us a straight answer.
Well, I know. I'm just telling what I think you want me to tell you, which is technically the question that you asked. So, on this
Dude,
issue,
tell us.
and sorry for interrupting, but might as well cut the chase and have you then come to your own conclusion. For the pure tribes, I'm not very much one to judge because I've never really lived in that time. from what I can gather, well, you lived here first. That, of course, is a common knowledge. And European tribes started to arriving because, well, when you find that the world is round, which actually is very funny because people knew the world was round, but for some reason, apparently, people nowadays like to think that people were stupid. So, considering that mostly my, let's say, some of our ancestors thought that, well, it was a good idea to think that some people were lesser beings, heretics, devil worshippers, but it would be a good idea to teach them, as he put air quotes, civilization. Well, that didn't go so well in the south, but our main interest is in the north, isn't it? From what I understand, and from the pure cold fact, the European tribe did break the litany by not respecting the territories of the pure tribe. And unfortunately for them, weren't able to defend it. Because the Europeans were cunning enough to have the government do a lot of the dirty work for them. Which is a lot easier to conquer a people when you start them or give them illness to make sure that they're unable to defend themselves. Or simply use their rivalries to divide them and use them to make your conquest easier. I might not like it, but I can't really change the past now, can I?
It's not about changing the past. It's not even about assigning blame. It's about acknowledging wounds that have been inflicted so that they can begin to heal.
That's a nice thought. Except that my contact with Bastet, at least one very close one, as he points to his throat, have shown me that simply acknowledging doesn't cut it out. Action
That's the first step.
is louder than words. Acknowledging is the first step, but it should never be the last step.
It's one that many in the nation don't want to take. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And it pleases me that you say that.
He will turn his gaze to Tolate because he feels that mostly it's her answer on that particular subject. That is the most prominent of the two.
She seems to be thinking, and for a while, and finally looks up. You speak a lot of what has happened, of pure facts. You speak little of your own opinion regarding these facts.
And he drags a cigarette. I have to stay factual.
Why?
Because it's my way to stay sane. You know how it is. Because from our conversation we had previously, I think you and I are very much alike, at least in this department, as he taps into his brain.
She nods slowly. Yes.
I have a pretty busy head, and the fact that one of my ancestors likes to visit it very often doesn't help. So if I go with my guts and that I focus too much on what I feel in there, well, I'm not saying I'm gonna be in a rune, but it's my way of coping with it. Because believe it or not, I feel very strongly about what they did. They did something terrible, which in their eye was justified. Justified because they didn't knew, because the habits of a long war are hard to forget. Doesn't excuse what my ancestor did. And one day I will have to pay the price for it.
This ancestor of yours. How big of a problem is he?
Oh, he's not that much of a problem. He is actually quite... it's not about what he does, it's about what he did that is a problem.
What did he do?
He made a very, very long trip in South America. And he had a lot of meetings with bastards, lizards, and was, I do not know exactly if he was too busy, too unknowable on the subject, but he only intervened too late and may have participated in the first massacres of the Camazots.
I see.
Not as well.
I am not so much interested in the past, but if we want to work with you more often, I would prefer to know what you would feel or how you feel about us, about William, and about me.
Indeed.
Well, from what I have seen, William is a more than competent warrior, a decent leader from the few missions that we were together. And even if he doesn't burn down Ben anymore, he is actually someone who is interesting to have conversation with. I mean, it's not every day I can have a conversation with an Arun that's not trying to rip my head off, at least yet. We're not in that stage of our relationship, William.
Will smiles.
As for you, well, we only had a few conversations, but I can see that you're someone who's very proud, budget itself is not a problem. I have to say, I think it's actually quite funny to have someone who actually doesn't bow automatically to a cat queen. It's very entertaining. And you have managed to have a decent conversation with an ancestor and Balam. You understand their ways and how they work, which tells me that in your field you are competent. And I have not seen yet any reason to doubt your competence as keeper of the land. I haven't seen yet a spirit raging on the set and demanding that people die on a hotel. I think it's at least a sign that we have normal conversation with spirits. As he smiles, looking at her hair.
There's a quick glance to Will as as Raphael says that she will probably to remember the jump in she had to do for between a certain Garou and Wendigo.
Yeah, Will doesn't say anything. He's cool as a monk on morphine. But yeah, Will remembers.
But I guess my opinion of you will forge itself much more as we cooperate together.
Mm-hmm. You have not tried to join a pack yet you've been here for several weeks now, if not months.
Yeah, that's right.
How come?
Well, it's better to understand pack. Strangely enough, if you stay neutral, and if you watch and observe, and honestly, I think that as a Shadow Lord, it's better first to actually have people consider me as a person that will not stab them, which is why I never carry a knife. That way people know I will actually have to get home first if I want to backstab them.
But that is not a very Garou way of thinking. We are not solitary creatures, not even Shadow Lords. So, as you've been here for some time now, what is your opinion on the Septon on their packs?
Well, the Striders of Ice and Concrete are crazies, as they are very nice people. But following reindeer, as I have witnessed firsthand, is very useful, but also come at a price, which makes them very combat heavy, not very good for activities that would require subtlety and even sometime bending of rules, as they have, as during our fight with this big multi-arm demon thing, they seem to be very wary about being honorable in combat. And as much as I can understand that, sometimes being too honorable gets you killed. And that doesn't really serve Skya if you're dead. The
Will disagrees.
It's okay. Disagree.
Agrees.
The Seekers. I'm not a party guy. I'm not really much of a fan. And mostly, having a conversation with Jacob, describing them as crazy crucifiers. doesn't really help give a good conversation. They at least hold normal mannerism, but all that Fianna boasting is definitely not my thing. Also, I think Dallas is a little bit weird. She stays away. She fights. We have a very weird relationship. I talk from afar. She stays afar, and I like it that way. She thinks the hummingbird pack didn't really had much. Didn't really had much of a conversation, to be honest. And well, that leaves the urban vigils. It seems very fond of the city, but unfortunately didn't had enough. Only did one mission with Felix. Was successful indeed in the sense that we survived, but I do not have much of a modus operandi on them. Oh, I guess that's the moment where I have to talk about the other pack. I don't know much about those guys either, but I did more mission with them than any others. I know they have cool ways of going around, which definitely is something I can appreciate. I like to be able to move how I please. It is better to establish a plan of battles and not go headstrong into death. And also, from what I have seen, I feel they are people that may potentially, if we agree to this relationship, may be able actually to understand me, my behavior, and probably some of my goal and not laugh in my face.
What is your goal?
After all, let's be perfectly honest. This is about me potentially entering your pack, isn't it?
Potentially, yes.
Then you need to know a few things about me, more than I have said. Because as much as I am a Shadow Lord, this kind of engagement at least deserves a little bit of honesty. I know, shocking. You have a bench if you want to sit up. My ancestor did or didn't do anything, which makes me feel uncomfortable, make me sick to my stomach. Because as much as I like to believe that my tribe at least have the decency to acknowledge that they did a monstrous thing, contrary to certain other tribes who prefer to hide their shame behind excuses. And of course, blaming the Silverfang, because obviously the Silverfang are always to blame. It's easier that way. I want to do something about it. I want to be able to at least put a stone somewhere along the line of Garu Farah relationship. Even if I have to die for this, which at some point there's probably going to be a Balam that will demand my death. just because. But I want to make amends. I want to actually make something, even if it's a spark, something that in the end will not be remembered by many. But if I can at least do something for what my ancestor did, or rather didn't do, then I would think that I have done something for the nation. And to be honest, at this point, it's not really the nation. Even if that sounds cocky, it's about Gaia, but I think someone like you might understand what I mean. As he looks at William. Considering he's a child of Gaia. Oh.
Yeah, Will does kind of understand what you mean, considering that making up for past sins has been something that's weighing on Will's mind recently. Will just nods.
And
in agreement.
There's also something that I'm suspecting. I suspect that perhaps not the Camazotz, but someone from South America left probably a gift to my family for the great service that they did to Gaia. As the life of my Garu family members seems to be always very short-lived.
You mean like a curse?
I mean, I'm just implying it's a curse. I'm just really, really suggesting my line is cursed. So, if you want me in your pack, you have to take that into consideration. As far as I know, it only concerns me and my bloodline. But if that curse is indeed true, I fully extend to actually make it stop. And it will probably involve a lot and a lot of contrition action for what my ancestor did.
And you could probably use a capable theurge.
That could be useful, indeed.
And if you were to join our pack, how would our pack gain from your joining us? What would the benefits be for us?
Well, I'm not going to go for about my good luck because obviously William is very well placed on the pedestal with his mighty scars. I'm sure the lady finds you extremely attractive. But
yeah, well, eyebrow raises.
I, as Ragabash, surprise, I'm very good at sneaking. But mostly, as of today, and to the battle, my main strength is not combat. My main strength, for now, as far as I have developed, is that outside of the fact that I'm able to mostly walk unseen, I'm able to determine the better way of dealing with an enemy if you give me enough time to study it. I have also quite a few competence in deduction, investigation, and I am slowly building a few contacts in the city in order to, well, always have an ear here and there. It's always good to be well informed.
You feel capable of working among the humans in the city?
Oh, I do. I mean, no, no offense to my other colleague, but he seems a little bit too much around the edge to be actually tolerable around human beings. So I think technically that makes me the only capable Garu, as far as I know, to walk among human, just being seen as a standard weirdo. And between the two of you, I guess having city information is kind of hard. So that can definitely be a tips in the balance.
I think you might be surprised. My kinfolk run a foundation, and they manage several contacts for me. But
Yeah.
you're right, I don't do it myself.
Yeah, you talked to me about your foundation for when the time will come for me to bring my kinfolks. But yeah, as you said, we're managing it for you. It's always nice to have someone who is actually able to go to the city just in case. Because as we have seen, the city is not really safe.
Kathleen will look at Will to see if he has any more questions.
No, we'll yeah, we'll happily just kind of nod, giving all the answers.
Also, obviously, joining implies that I don't betray you.
Eyebrows raised.
And he looks. I mean, I'm a Shadow Lord. I kind of have to say it out loud. That I don't join with intention of backstabbing people.
But if you were going to backstab us, that's what you would say.
Yeah, but then again, I'm a Shadow Lord, so maybe I'm saying that in order to falsely ease the tension.
Maybe. I guess we'll never know.
The plan within a plan will be activated once my other plan within my other plan will activate without you knowing so, and it will be so complicated.
You see, I wasn't brought up in the nation. Like, I'm new to these stereotypes. But yeah, I get it.
It's okay. Just know that if something happened in the pack, you can point fingers at me and say, he's a bad guy.
You mean like if someone doesn't do the washing up, or well, they left their dinner out, didn't?
I mean, I'm the Ragabash. I'm supposed to be the Omega. Obviously, I'm the terrible person that doesn't do the laundry.
We're not going to have a pack Omega.
It's okay. The rest of the nation will believe it. As he just, he shrugs off.
We have, and he'll kind of nod to Talati. We have an understanding. We don't, in our pack, we don't throw our weight around. There's no throwing around orders. Everyone's opinion is valued, and everyone is given a valued opinion. Everyone is given a valued time. Doesn't matter about rank or position or obviously, if there's something needs to happen, then well. But yeah.
And
no one's lording it over everyone else.
And he nods. I mean, every pack has their own dynamic, and I wouldn't expect anything less from a child of Gaia.
Well, then I think if these are all the questions we had and they're answered to our satisfaction, she gives a quick look to Will.
Yeah.
We consider you as potential packmates and would like to ask if you would see the same options that we're seeing.
And he he actually gets up from his bench and walk over to Latte, being taller than her, obviously, because it's not really hard.
No, I think the entire Seps is taller than she is, including some of yeah.
Some of the smallest people.
Yeah.
And he looks at her. You say to yourself, this pack, considering what I would wish to accomplish, is the more suited one for me. And he actually extend a hand to the menace.
How does he feel about that? I'm gonna roll P&E at that because it does mean that he has to accept Metis as an alpha. That's not something everybody just simply accepts.
Sure.
What is my E? My E is also 2. 3 successes.
And just for the lols, I have 2 successes.
You are the defender.
I guess the way it works is that she's waiting for a reaction when she shakes his hand.
No, she's just more trying to discern, like, if his face would show like a hint of disgust at having to touch a Metis, or if he feels like he's being degraded by having to speak to an alpha Metis in general, like that kind of stuff.
From what you are seeing of his behavior, you can actually see that he is completely factual.
Mm-hmm.
That this is something I guess that you've seen like through all this interaction.
Yeah.
Is that he's very much like a machine. He's very much like a machine in terms of like, yes, this is business. This is business. This is definitely the vibe that you get. Like, yes, this is a business talk. There's no feeling involved.
So she will extend her hand. But as she does, she will ask, "Would you be willing to serve under a Metis Alpha?" Since she didn't really get much of a reading other than business skid.
Here's my card. And so did she extend the hand?
Yeah. She did extend her hand.
He takes her hand as he raise an eyebrow as he, you can feel that the way he shakes the hand is like, this is new, this is strange. This is strange. Let me, because yeah, but the way, like,
Yeah.
it's he is completely analyzing the handshake.
The way she shakes actually is more like, also, as if you're analyzing it anyway, a handshake is not something she's very familiar with. You can clearly tell, and it's more that she has seen this being done, like on Sept and even like on television, but she doesn't really do this very often herself. So it's a really, kind of robotic kind of handshake, like. Yeah.
Up, down, up.
Yeah,
down.
exactly. It's like counting. You can almost see her counting in her head: up, down, and extract.
And extract. and, and yeah, he looks at her and says, "Well, for personal opinion, I would say that personally, I don't really care because I'm not a philodox. It's not up to me to judge, first of all, because it's easier that way. I can get away with it. But for me, as long as you are a competent alpha who knows what she is doing, you could be a pink flying elephant. I could really care less. And after all, as the Ragabash, it will be my job to poke you in the ribs and criticize your work if criticize needs to happen. I don't really see why I should criticize the fact that you are a menace if it doesn't interfere with your job. Does it interfere with your job?
Mm, she thinks about that because for her it's not something that really interferes into anything, as it's more
Mm-hmm.
something that's always with her anyway. It's like, if you lose a foot, yeah, you'll be handicapped at running, but if you have always had a foot less, then you won't really know the difference. So she does give it a very serious thought, and she says, the spirits do not see the difference, or see the difference less than a problem. And I am very well versed when it comes to the dealings with the nation where I've been brought up. However, you and I and Will both all know, that the nation has a view on Metis. So my job as an alpha depends on the people around me as well.
Mm. A very valid answer. Then again, I guess it's gonna be my job to distract them from you.
Maybe. I have not had the situation where anyone questioned my capability as an alpha on me being a Metis, at least not openly.
They're too scared of it.
She raises an eyebrow at that.
We'll smile. We'll smile at her.
Hey, that's my line.
We'll put his
Okay.
hands up in a fake apology.
I wasn't aware.
But honestly, on this subject, I guess if people really want to have a feared Wendigo on their ass, that's their problem. And I mean, worst case scenario, you it will happen. It will happen, and we will be obviously very mad. And at some point, I will not be there for a few hours, and then things may change, or someone may have a terrible accident.
Well, then all there is left for us to do is see, if you take our offer, of course, is to see if our totem would accept you as well.
I guess that makes sense. I would be utterly yes. I would be utterly
God damn it.
delighted. I would be utterly delighted to be presented to the Otter Totem.
Yeah, Will rolls his eyes.
Catherine does not get it, as usual.
And he, yeah, he looks at William. Look, everybody makes fun of you behind your back for being a follower of Otter, so someone had to say it out loud.
Did I?
I'm just implying because of the pun. I didn't really heard anybody making fun of Otter. It's just a pun,
Oh,
dear Alpha.
I see. Well, we will set up a meeting. If you wish, we could try and see if he is around. He's always around, actually, but that's not something that you will say.
How dare you suggest I'm not around?
Exactly.
You will bring me many
Actually, are we in the Tellurian or are we in the Umbra?
I think we're
Well,
in
I
the
mean,
Tellurian.
we're precise, but I think we're in the DeLorean, to be honest.
If you want to, we can go into the Umbra and check to see if he's around.
Sure. I
Let's
have no
make,
problem with that.
and let's make the crossing roll.
As I guess we will fade to black in order to have nobody being trapped forever.
I mean, we're past. It's on Sept. You literally have difficulty 4 to cross.
No, I know. I'm just implying because of the side chat.
Yeah, I need to go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, we will fade to black. Apologies.
It's okay.
Then with the pack fading into the Umbra, hopefully not getting stuck, we will end the scene as they go and talk to Otter. Players, thank you for playing. Watchers, thank you for watching. This was another scene of Living World of Darkness. Good night.